Hello and welcome to Hammer's Chat. We're here to talk about all the things that we think is going wrong with West Ham United and anything we think could be fixed. We have a new sponsor, our very first sponsor of YouTube, which is Royal London Watches. So do check them out, and the links are on the forum. I'm joined with just one person tonight because I think he's got a lot to say and he's going to take up all the time himself. Tom, how are you doing?
Not bad, mate. Not bad. Don't know if I've got a lot to say. Just got to speak our minds about the issues going on at West Ham at the moment.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. I've gone on to the forum and social media and asked for some suggestions. Not because we need things to talk about, because we need to actually cut some stuff out. Otherwise, we'll be here for hours. Does that sum up just how much is going wrong right now, Tom?
It does, mate. It does. Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, it's always going to be challenges going to a new stadium, and I don't think the results have helped you. To be honest, if we were sitting like last year, third or fourth, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation, you know. But it has gone that way, you know. We've lost 5 out of 6, and all the issues with the stadium as well, and all the problems with the board, which I'm sure we'll get on to. Yeah, there is issues, mate, at the moment.
And for you watching on YouTube, Charlie is running a live chat, so do chat to Charlie. I can see all your comments as well, so I'll be keeping an eye on that while I'm listening to Tom. And make sure you subscribe while you're here. Tom, I've never done this before, but where do you want to start? Is there anything in particular you're really wanting to get into straight away?
We can start about the letters and things and the communication that's come from the club, Gio, if you like. I mean, I'm sure that's what people want to hear about and discuss, and I'll give you my views on it, really. My views on the actual discussion, I mean, it's been spoke about by many people, many other channels as well. You know, the letters, the communication that's come from the board, you know, the letters basically threatening to throw people out if they're caught standing, you know, and lifetime bans. It's just unacceptable. And it's put, you know, this is meant to be a really exciting start of the season for us, really, you know, like first season, a new stadium, and to send them letters out, especially the first one, especially with Brady, and then Golden Sullivan themselves to follow it up with exactly the same what Karen Brady put. I mean, it puts a bad taste in everyone's mouth, you know, and it's just, and you go into the game wondering, and it's, yeah, I mean, people getting told to sit down in the rendition of bubbles, and it's just, I have to admit, though, last game didn't seem as bad. I mean, yeah, it didn't seem as bad last game, so who knows? Maybe it's solved. We're talking about issues in the first 4 games, but no, yeah.
Do you think the fans have won? I mean, one of the issues when where I was sat, you seen where we sat on Saturday for the Watford, it was right in front of us where it kicked off with the handbags, etc. Against Southampton, they were left well. The stewards didn't go near them once. They stood for the whole game, and the stewards didn't go near them once. Do you think the fans have won, Tom?
I wouldn't say that it's a case of they've won, Gio, to be honest. I mean, I can see both sides of the story. I can see people that want to sit down, and I can see people that want to stand. Myself, I had so many years in the chicken run, down near the away fan ends, I only stood. And this season, in my 1966 seat, which is on the halfway line, which I'll get onto a bit later as well, yeah, I'm sitting down. And I sort of took it on the chin a bit, because obviously I had to sit down for a year. And I thought, I'll work out where it is. But that was my own call, you know. But I do want to stand at a game. It's what I've been used to, you know. And the rules are the rules. I totally get that. But they turn a blind eye, fair enough, at Upton Park, so I don't get why they're concerned about. But I totally get, obviously, if there is someone standing and there's a child or someone elderly in front of them, I can totally get it. But this is different. The stewards at Upton Park, and there's that guy that's called Rich. Well, I'll just say Rich. His name is, because obviously, but his name's Rich. He's an ex. He doesn't work no longer for West Ham. He didn't get offered a new job, which is another. But he didn't get offered a job. He's now a lorry driver. And basically he's saying that that's where the stewards, their passion for the club, love of the club, they can understand, like, you know, but it was a rarity, like, you know, the fact they had to move someone, because people knew the standing sections. I'm not going to go into it. We all know the standing sections at Upton Park. But if someone did get a ticket in there that was sort of hadn't been there before and they complained about it, they moved them. They moved them to an area where there was sitting. And this is it. I mean, someone goes to complain that they can't see, stewards are going to go, well, because they haven't got any love of West Ham. They haven't got any sort of football sort of experience of hanging in a football crowd. They go tell a guy to sit down, and he's had 7 beers before the game. Well, it's a recipe for disaster.
The club have moved, I think, about 250 people. I think it's primarily people, children, they're trying to move, because in the Premier League rule book, it is every club's supposed to have a family section, and now it came out that our supposed family section is the upper tier, the Bobby Moore. Now, this is news to me because when I went to the reservation centre, I went with Gonzo, and we were very open from the start. We were both taking a season ticket, and Gonzo's child is coming with us. Not once did he say, "Oh, there's a family section for you." Surely, as soon as we said we had a child, there should have been a light bulb moment that the person in the reservation centre said, I'm going to tell you about the family section, just in case you want to go there with your child where it's safe, everyone will sit down, it'll be nice and quiet, no swearing." But not once did that get mentioned to us. In fact, quite the opposite. We got sold with a wink wink and a nudge nudge by our person who was an Arsenal fan. He was very open about sport. He was actually a really nice bloke. We had a nice conversation with him, and he was told us he was hoping to go work for Tottenham now, for Tottenham's new stadium. He's hoping to go work in there and try and do the migration with them. Well, good luck you get this bloke, because with a wink and nudge, he told me and Gonzo that where we were going to be is right next to the away fans. It's not really right next to the away fans, is it, Thomas? About 6 blocks away. But he also insinuated that that's where the atmosphere is going to be. And funny enough, against Watford, right in front of us is where the stewards were telling people to sit down and no standing. Do you think the club ballsed up big time with the migration? Karen Brady labelled it as the most successful migration in history of football or something or another. I wouldn't even call it the most successful month at West Ham United.
They've balls up big time, Joe. We all knew, everyone knows that they should have moved people in bulk in the stadium. I know they done it on band, but you had bands that different. My band in the Chicken Run was band 2. So when I got to go to Reservation Centre, which was basically a year before we moved in, it was July of 2015. Was it July? Yeah, it'd have been July 2000 last year. So basically, near enough 14 months before the start of the season, I was my third day of the band 2, and my comparative view was ridiculous. I mean, to give you a comparison, I was row B, seat 5 of the Chicken Run, which is right down the away fans on the corner flag. And my comparable view, so I was expecting upper tier, second row, like that would have been fantastic near the corner flag. It wasn't comparable. My view was, because they'd done the 1966 seats, my comparable view was, in about row 60, I think. And I said, that's not my comparable view. And, that's what we'll lay with it. Well, I can take you to the stadium. I can show you. You can't go to the stadium. Mark, that's not my comparable view. Well, then we had to go along the lines of upgrading to a band 1. I couldn't go to them seats, obviously, because it was obviously lower band. And it's just the whole thing. And I'm pretty sure, and I've spoke to a few people about this, and they've confirmed it, that we were promised stadium tours. Because I actually made the comment to the person in the thing. I said, it's all right you show me electronic picture of my seat. I wouldn't go buy a car just on a picture. Look at this lovely picture. I wouldn't go buy a car. I'm not an idiot. You know what I mean? So I actually made the point of actually saying to him, can we go there to see my seat? Yes, we're going to do stadium tours once they're sold, and but unbeknown to them, obviously, they had issues with the seating. So I think that it was still classified as a building site. And to be honest with you, if a lot of people would have gone and seen the seats before the start of the season, I think a lot of people would have said, whoa, this is not for me. With the money back guarantee, this is not for me. And I think a lot of people potentially would have said, no, I don't want the seat.
David Gold, is he winding you up on Twitter, or is it just me that he keeps banging on about the capacity of the stadium, and it's all he seems to talk about? We can go to 60, then 66, and he's got this sort of belief that there's a correlation between success and attendances. Has he not spotted that Leicester City won the title last year, and Newcastle United got relegated with a huge stadium? But what I don't get, Tom, there's a lot of empty seats in that ground already.
Yes, there's a lot of empty seats, Gio, and the block you're on about, I know what you're going to discuss, and David Cole keeps banging on about it. Is it actually David Gold on Twitter that tweets, or has he got a team? I don't know the whole situation.
I don't know.
But he keeps banging on about. The other day, the tweet was, there's been a surge in Claret memberships, and I can't tell you how much my blood boiled when he tweeted that out. It's just like a massive kick it's a massive kick in a certain area for the male anatomy. Why are you tweeting that out? Because there's Thomas Cook. They've gone into this partnership because of corporate with Thomas Cook, And there's a whole block. I mean, it's empty, but it's okay to sell them for 150, 200 quid a seat for Thomas Cook. But you got people on the Claret membership that not even successful in the ballot. They can't, proper fans that can't go to the game. It's honestly, it's a bloody insult. It really, really bores me. It really, really, it angers me, Gio, to a certain extent. That I can't believe he's tweeting out about a certain surge. It's an insult. It's an insult to everyone on the Claret membership that can't get a ticket, and the other fan that can't get a ticket because they're sitting there. Thomas Cook empty, 130 quid a seat. It's ridiculous.
For those not on Twitter, David Gold actually put that tweet Tom's talking about out on Sunday morning before our game against Southampton. David Gold decided to tweet something along, as Tom said, there's been a massive surge in Claret membership. Everyone wants a ticket. Then it was almost he was waiting for someone to go, but we can't get one, because his immediate response was, yeah, but wait until we go to 60,000 and then 66,000. Well, there's heaps, and I mean heaps of empty seats against Southampton. How about they get Ticket Trader working so that the fans that can't go / don't want to go anymore can put their seat up for sale, and fans that can't get a ticket through the ballot can actually go on and buy one and attend the game. There's so much seats. To put into contrast, just how much empty seats was at half time on Sunday. Tom texted me saying, is there any seats near you? I said, Tom, mate, half the row is literally empty. And Tom could have picked 6 seats next to me, 6 of them. And if you watch our vlog, he's sitting right next to me because there was no one there. My whole row was empty. There was just me, Gonzo, and a couple of other people. I was looking around thinking, where is everyone? Where is everyone? And we just can't shift the tickets. But let's move on to something else. But before we do, Tom, do you think, given that they've sorted the segregation, they are moving the fans, it looks like they let the fans stand against Southampton, do you think the stadium's got potential to be a home of football? Well, not a home of football, but a home for West Ham United?
If the issues are going a certain way, Gio, yeah. But for me personally, them seats need to come in further. They need to work further in. Well, I know they can't do it now, but next summer they need to work further to get them seats another 20 foot because it is too far. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't think I've ever been to another stadium where the managers are about, they're a good 40 yards away from their actual players in the dugout. It's a ridiculous situation. Honestly, it's a ridiculous situation. They need to get them seats in further, and I don't care how they do it, even if they sort of and they could even get a bigger capacity somehow that way. To me, especially on the sides, in the corners, which we'll get onto, because I went to your seat, you're actually closer to the pitch, and a lot cheaper ticket than me, who's paid quite a lot of money. And the curvature is ridiculous. They need to get it a bit better. I think that's the only gripe I can sort of really think they need to really sort out.
Yeah, it's got the potential. I mean, the noise stays in the ground, etc. But there's a lot of issues. But they are working on it, and I just don't get it. I mean, they've got this whole SAB set up, and I looked at it, debated going for it, but I seen you had to submit your questions beforehand and stuff. I thought, well, I'd like to go and ask questions, not literally submit my question, and then you decide if it gets approved or not, because it's not really then a fans forum type thing, is it? It's kind of just like a Q&A. We'll answer the ones we want to answer, and that's it.
The questions, and the thing with that is they've been, as Nicky said on West Ham Fans, they've been delaying it because it's so poor, because they know it's going to be negative, but there's no positivity to talk about. So there's no point having a supporters advisory board if you're not going to get the real fans in and actually give the real issues a proper discussion and give the fans the questions they want answered. But to vet the questions beforehand and then say, "Oh well, you can't," it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like living in a dictatorship way, in a way, because it's pathetic, Gio. It's absolutely pathetic.
One person on Facebook, sorry if I don't have your names to say thank you for the questions and that, because I just jotted them down. But someone on Facebook said, do you think part of the problem is some fans came into this season with unrealistic expectations?
Well, we can only go by. I mean, I was personally, I was all for the move of the stadium, but the issues that have gone so far, for me, it's not what I expected and what we were sold in a way, I think last season we did overachieve, and I think a lot of people have raised expectations, and maybe we're getting a reality check with regards to the result. But yeah, in a way, Gio, yes, yeah.
I think a lot of people weren't over. I don't think a lot of people had unrealistic expectations. I mean, if you go look at the Hammer Chat preview we did at the start of summer, out there, I think there was like 7 or 8 of us did it. Only one person said top four. No one else thought we would get top four. I mean, you could call me negative. I said we'd finish ninth, but I was expecting a European run. So I don't think we were unrealistic. I think we were just hopeful. But the way we're playing just now, the way we're feeling right now, has got nothing to do with unrealistic expectations. Because unless you were expecting to finish 17th, so far it's been disappointing. Even if you were expecting to finish 10th, it's been disappointing so far. So I'm not quite sure about that. I think there was some people that were unrealistic. Like I said on our preview, someone did say fourth. I did think, not sure what you're basing that on. But this leads us on to I suppose our next point. Do you think we've got mugged off with the transfer window?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I'm hearing rumours that I mean, you've let players go like Tompkins, you know, and I've heard he's like the joker of the pack, you know, and it could be, yeah, we sold him for 10 million, which you could argue is not enough, or people argue it is enough. I mean, but if he's a joker of the pack, he's got the sort of, he's keeping the morale up in the background, isn't he? Even though he's not getting the game, he's like the glue that holds all the pieces together. He's a local, yeah, again, you know, he's a local lad. And that's what I'm saying. You get rid of that jokeness. Even it could be like playing a prank, a whoopee cushion on someone or whatever. You know, it's minimal, but it's enough to keep the morale and the sort of thing high. But as regards to the transfer window, yeah, it's been, for me personally, we haven't brought, we haven't, as you guys said, we haven't improved the first team. For me, we haven't improved the first team. We've improved the squad, which I think, as you said, they've got a squad, you know, for European, but we got knocked out of that. And they bought a lot of players that are not Premier League experienced, and basically they're saying you've got to get Premier League experience quick, and you can't get rid of Premier League experienced players and then bring in players that haven't got Premier League experience, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot change my mind. I did a video with Charlie on this, on the transfer window, and I thought we had a good window, but so I'm not going to sit here and say we've had a rubbish one. But what I was judging our window was on, I was expecting European football. I thought we built that, we based that window on European football. We went after quantity rather than quality, and for whatever reason, we managed to shoot ourselves in the foot again against Astra. Whether we didn't take it serious enough or Bilic got wrong, it's neither here nor there. It's done. We're out of Europe. We've now got a squad for European football, and we don't have European football. When I'm looking back at the transfers, I actually feel a bit mugged off by David Sylvan, because over the summer on our forum at harrischat.com, people were saying, where's this £25 million striker he promised? And I defended him. I said he never once said he was going to spend 25 million. He said he was going to get a 20 goal a season striker, which is two totally different things. He did, however, say, to get that, you point, he said, but I was expecting the big striker, even if it was Defoe, someone to stick the ball in net. That's what I was expecting. When we were going after Lacazette, and as much as I thought I had a bit of hope we'd get him, I kind of knew he was unrealistic. But I just thought, you know, something, we were going to get the striker. And when we were going after Zaza, I thought, okay, that's our second striker, so where's the main one? And then it clicked when we signed Cleary, and David Sullivan was on the official site saying, this guy could score a lot of goals for us this season. This guy could be the one. And I thought, hang on a minute, wait. To me, that was our like fourth choice striker. Carroll was third, Zaza or someone else would be the second, and there was going to be a bigger one. So where's the bigger one? And it never came. And then watching Zaza, and I'm not going to slate Zaza, I think he's a good player, but he's not a West Ham player. He's not a number 9. He's a number 10. He needs to play as a second striker. He needs someone up there with him. And I'm just thinking, who's to blame here? Because Torre was 100% Bilic's signing, but was anyone else Bilic's signing? Did he pick any of those other players? I mean, we took in, 13 players? Lanzini was one. Let's count him out. Took in 12 players. Torre's one. That leaves 11. 11 players. Was any of them Bilic's signings?
It's a good question, mate. As you know, Tony Emery does the signings, doesn't he, for West Ham? Does he go to Bilic with a list and say to Bilic, these are who I think we're going to get, and Bilic says that one in that priority order? I don't know how it works, but you're right. I don't think most of them signings are not Bilic's signings, and I think it's been lumbered with players that he's got to play. And as you said, it's square pegs in round holes. You know, they seem to. I mean, Norvet seems to have covered one position, Alex Son, and he seems to have covered a centre defender. So it seems to be like they've sort of covered like 2 positions with one player there. And you're right. And they've got no Premier League experience. That's the main thing, Gio, for me. They've got no Premier League experience, and we're seeing that at the moment. Premier League is fast paced. Norvik might be a fantastic player in the Bundesliga. Torrey might be a fantastic player in the Turkey Super League. But to me, them leagues are nowhere as good and as fast paced as the Premier League. And you can even lose someone as Victor Moses. I know he's a bit, and I know he's on loan, and you can even lose someone like that. But now you're seeing the quality that he brought, even though it wasn't a great deal and his attitude stunk. But you can see the quality of that guy over someone like Toure. I mean, to me, at the two of them, you've had to pick Victor Moses or at the moment Gok and Toure. Victor Moses all day long. I'm sorry, I don't. I mean, yeah, it's. I don't know. Yeah, you're right, G. I don't know who's done the signings. I mean, obviously the board have gone giving Bilic a big list. I don't know what Bilic is. That's what I'm saying. We're none the wiser. I just, it's a shambles, mate. It's an absolute shambles.
If we wanted a right, I don't get why we had to sign a free right back on deadline day. A guy we could have signed on the 1st of July. We could have gone on the 1st of July because he had no club. We could have gone on the 1st of July, but for whatever reason, we got him in on 31st of August. And then we get told, oh, he's not fit enough. We'll have to wait a few weeks before he can play. Well, how about if you get him in the start of July? He's actually been with the squad for a month, and come the Chelsea game, which Antonio had to play right back, if you come the Chelsea game, we've got a 33-year-old, vastly experienced right back who had to, by the way, had to pay for his own bloody airfare to come over here and sign for the club. That sums up our transfer window. It sums up our transfer window when someone, a footballer who's played for Real Madrid, who's won the World Cup, he's won the European Championship, he's won the Champions League, he's played behind Ronaldo and Bale. He has to pay for his own plane to come to London and sign for West Ham. That sums up our transfer window almost. But like I said, I thought it was a good window. But now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, well, actually, I think we've been mugged off a bit here. And I just remember January, not the last January, the January we had Allardyce. We were 4th on Christmas Day. I remember saying it on the forum, etc. I remember saying the board need to go and get 2, 10, 15 million players. Real quality. We're 4th. Go get 2 players and go for 4th. Go for it. You know, take the risk. And if we fail, we'll finish 8th or something. So what? Go for it. Yeah. And they signed piss. They went and signed
allegedly we spent £60 million. Can we go through and total the £60 million up? And I'm not including loan fees. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it.
Even if you do, Tom, even if you do include loan fees, I don't get 60 million.
Okay, exactly. And how much allegedly did Upton Park get sold for?
35.
35. Okay, we're giving 35. £10 million for Tompkins. 45. So I think they've spent nothing.
No, but they've done it on the cheap.
Exactly, the cheap. And you've got double TV money. They could have easily spent another 30, 40 million, and as you said, brought quality, and brought in 4 or 5 quality players. We all knew we needed a right back, but Bilic persisted, and this is Bilic's fault. He persisted on playing Antonio. He thought we could turn him, and in a way, it's courageous, you know. But every manager's got a weakness, you know, and for me, that was Bilic's weakness, to persist with the matter that he could force Antonio into a right back was absolutely stupid. And I don't know if the current sort of situation for, like, in the background, I don't know if there's a little bit of, if he's lost a dressing room, I don't know. And maybe that can go along. Allegedly, there was a player or two went up to Bilic and said about Antonio, we can't keep playing him there, you know, because it's tearing us apart. You know, I don't know if Bilic feels that he's been undermined. I don't know, mate. I don't know the thing, but it seems to be the turning point.
Well, let's talk about that in a minute. Final word, I just want to say on the transfers. If you go look at Liverpool, again, I did a preview with Charlie on the Premier League season. We spoke about Liverpool, and at the time, Mane was getting criticised. 35 million, are you having a laugh? And I sat there and I said he will be the signing of the season. And the reason is, forget about price value. Klopp went, I want this type of player that's played in Premier League. There he is, Mane, go get him. The board might have overpaid. They probably didn't want to pay 35, but they went and got the exact player Klopp wanted. Same with Ronaldo. They went to Newcastle and said Klopp wants him. They went 25 million. Everyone in football went, yeah, right. Liverpool went, that's the guy our manager wants. We will take him. There's your players that you want that fits your philosophy. they go. Now, I don't think Bilic has a plan A, but even if he did, our board are not providing him with the players to play with the Bilic philosophy, the Bilic identity, because they all come from different sort of cultures. They all come from different styles of football. You know, Klopp plays counter-attacking, fast football, so they go get counter-attacking, fast players. What style of football does Bilic play? Now you're going to say counter-attacking, fast football, which we did. You know, why are they going to got players like, I don't know, Nordveit? He's not like a counter-attacking fast player. You know, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit what we've seen at West Ham last year. I think they've gone out and went, let's go get some midfielders. Oh, he's a midfielder. We'll get him. They've not given a damn if it's the type of midfielder Bilic needs. They've gone, oh, look, we need another player, a midfielder. Oh, we'll go get Fernandes. Again, they're not giving a damn about if it's a type of midfielder Bilic needs. And I feel really sorry for Bilic, but you've just talked about that. Right, I'm going to come back on that one because this is something I want to talk about. The players going to Bilic over Antonio. Now, this is a big thing for me because I've said it to a lot of people. I said it to you as well. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me that Noble and maybe Antonio has gone to Bilic and said, look, this ain't working. That's Noble's job, in my opinion. It's Noble's job to be the link between manager and changing room. And if it's going on in changing room and it's becoming big, it's Noble's job to go to the manager and say, look, Gaffer, the boys ain't happy. This ain't working. Right. I don't get, that's not a problem for me. The problem is me and you know about it. The problem is someone has leaked this. Now, I know it came out from an ex-West Ham employee, but I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming whoever has told the ex-West Ham employee, or whoever's told that person has told us. How has that come out of Bilic's office? If Noble and a couple of others has gone to Bilic with this, how has it suddenly got to the working day fan like me and you? How do we know about this, Tom? To me, that is a massive, massive alarm bell.
It is. You're totally right, Joe. I don't know how we get the information. Some of the information we get, I really don't. There's a massive leak somewhere, and you're right. We shouldn't know about these sort of things, but we do, and it is very worrying. I mean, there is something going on. It's blatant to see. You can't go from way we were. The players they've brought to a certain extent, but the first team hasn't been improved that lot. I mean, QA's gone missing. Noble's gone missing. There's something gone on behind the scenes, mate. There's something gone on drastically for me behind the scenes. You can't go from playing the way we were last year to this. I mean, from only like this time last year we were +6 goal difference. Now we're on -13. It's the contrast from there to there is shocking. And in a way, I'm actually happy it's happened at the beginning of the season and not after Christmas, you know, and once we lose another transfer window. I'm happy that in a way that it's happened now, you know, and get out of the way, get all the creases ironed out, you know, but you're all right, mate. The St. Majors, for me, has gone on behind the scenes.
I think so as well. The team spirit's gone.
Yep. The last year, the togetherness was fantastic. You know, Noble saying, "Pi, I love you," you know, or "I effing love you," like, you know, and Bilic slapping their asses, and, you know, as they go off, "Well done," like, oh, you know, doing all weight, like hand movements, like, you know, and he's thanking everyone, and then team together, and they're all. But I know we're having a lot to celebrate in the team. Like, the results have been awful, but when they're letting goals in, you can just see the down, and you can see, oh, we can see another goal. Just walk back to the halfway line, nice and slow, and oh, what's next? We're going to concede another goal. I'll walk back to the halfway line. There's no one saying, you're useless. You need to go do this. You need to go do that. There's nothing. This seems really downbeat, mate.
Yeah, there's no one taking control. But by the point I made on Sunday, and I stick with it, there's no one taking responsibility with or without the ball. When we've got the ball, we're scared of it. We're giving it to the nearest opponent, our nearest player, and just standing there. And that's why I think we're going sideways all the time. No one's got the balls to try that through ball right now. No one wants the ball. They're all just passing it as if say it's almost like it's a ticking time bomb. You have it. No, you have it. No, you have it. Oh, we'll just give it back to the keeper. And then he just boots it down the middle of the pitch. But I think there's something going on. Now, there's two players in my head that worry me. Is there anyone that worries you, Tom, that you think, hang on, there's something not right with this player right now?
As I said, I mentioned the two players. Me personally, QA is one of them, and Noble. They just seem to have both gone missing this season, mate. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Mine's different to that. I wonder if two people got their heads turned in the summer. One is obvious, Richard Pyatt. Yeah, we all know about him. I'm not going to go into that. I think we're all starting to feel it a little bit. We all felt it in the window. The other player I think is maybe, and I've got no proof, this is just my theory, Ogbonna. At the start of the season, he wasn't in the team. I did not get that at all. And he just doesn't, I don't know, he just doesn't seem right. And when I've just got this worrying feeling he was wanting to go to Chelsea, or he was hoping Chelsea would come in for him. But the other thing that sticks with me is in the summer, we hand out new deals. We said, Randolph, who signed last summer, here's your new deal. Antonio, who signed last summer, here's your new deal. Ogbonna, who signed last summer, and was arguably just as good, well, actually, he's better than Randolph, just as good as Antonio, in my opinion, didn't get one. Now, why that is, I don't know. And bear in mind that also Creswell's had a new deal 2 summers in a row. At the back end of the season, Czech and Adrian signed a new deal as well. So all these players are getting first team new. They're all getting new deals. Ogbonna's not got one, and it's made me think. And I'm probably thinking too much into it. I'm just wondering why he's not got a new deal. It does make me worry a little bit. And then while I was worrying a little bit, Ogbonna was on the bench, and I didn't get it because he's by far, every single West Ham fan was singing about before Watford, who's going to start with Ogbonna? Who's going to start with Ogbonna? And he put Ogbonna on the bench. For me, that's just another warning bell. But let's talk about training. Thank you for watching. I know we've been going on and on, but we're going to keep going on and on. Talk about training. This has come out yesterday. Now, Bilic has said it before the season started, but no one really cared about it because it wasn't an issue. It's now an issue. And the paper ran with it. Kids and pets turn up to training, Tom. Do you take your kid and pet to work?
No, I don't. I know certain companies have creches, like for their children, like if the working mum, to take the, have the creche, like take the kids up the creche. But you shouldn't take your kids. You shouldn't take your pets. You shouldn't take your kids. You shouldn't take either to the training. It's absolutely ridiculous. The head's not in the game. If I have my wife, if I have my girlfriend or my wife and my baby on the training ground, I'll be thinking. I'm not thinking about the past or doing well in training. I'm thinking, what's happening with my beautiful wife and beautiful girlfriend and my lovely children. They shouldn't be anywhere near there, mate. They shouldn't be. I don't get it. I mean, and if the training ground's been designed for that, fair enough. But don't get them to say no. Say ban it. It's a bit like the England team, isn't it? With Capello. I mean, he brought no. It doesn't go. No offence. That's just stay away from football. They get paid an awful lot of money to have 100% commitment. And a part of their, 90% of their actual money is actually training during the week. Obviously, game time's it's very minimal. So, no, when you're getting paid, you go to the thing, and that's it. You go to work, and your work is at the thing, and you don't bring your kids and your dog. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking my goldfish from it to work, but unfortunately, I don't really have the facilities to do that. But I think it'd be okay as like a treat if we've won 4 in a row. You know what, guys? On Monday, it's gonna be an easy day. You can take your kids, you can take your bloody Labrador away, whatever. But when we're getting beat, the players actually need to get into training and focus and watch games properly, learn from their mistakes, etc. Last thing they want is someone's pet poodle sniffing around their feet and trying to hump their leg. It's a bit silly. I'm surprised that this is still happening. It was me. I told you. There was someone that I worked before that they had a creche, etc. But it was to keep the mothers at work, blah blah blah, and it was almost like a scheme at work, a part of it, an incentive. But like you said, players get paid a lot of money, and the reason I've always said footballers deserve their pay. Controversial, I know, but it's because you give up a lot of sacrifices during your playing career, and one of those things is going away from your family for a long period of time, etc. But giving up. You've got to maintain your body. Now, speaking about maintaining your body, on the pitch this morning, and I believe this is true, it sounds like the Sun's running with it, and the club are looking into this. Randolph and Andrew Carroll, what do you make of that, Tom?
Well, allegedly, it's their day off. I mean, you can look into that what you want. I mean, if it's a day off, then in a way, you can sort of argue to a certain degree they can do what they want. But one of them players, obviously, Carroll's injured, and for me to be out on the lash, rather than actually being extra day, if it's his day off, in the crisis we're in, maybe have an extra day of physio, try and get back a week earlier, or whatever the injury is. I don't know that Carroll's got actually. So, but maybe look to try and a bit extra in. The club's in a bit of a crisis at the moment. We're not scoring. The strikers haven't scored any goals. So instead of being captured out on the lash, me personally, if I was a professional, I would look to maybe go to the physio and get better quicker. But I mean, it's a bit. It is yet again. No, there's no control, is there? I mean, I don't know. It's all allegations, allegedly, Gio, isn't it? You know what I mean? But for me, it's not right. But I mean, if it's his day off, they can do what they want, I suppose. But when you've got one of the players injured and they're both earning a great deal of money, there should be a bit more commitment for them personally.
I think that's why. I think that's why they get paid a lot of money. You've got to give these things up, unfortunately. We've got an international week coming up. After the Middlesbrough game, we've got a 2-week break. Go out on the pitch that I know Randolph will be away with Ireland, right? But that's when you go out for a day or two and get pissed. Not 5 days before a massive game for the club. And I know Carroll's injured, but Randolph's not. He should be fighting for that number 1 shirt. If there's anyone that should be putting in extra training right now, it's the players that want to get into the team, in my opinion. Randolph, Obiang, Oxford, they should be the one out on the training ground saying, Slav, look at me. Look what I'm doing. I'm here on my day off, putting in the graft. Give me a shirt. Give me the chance. I deserve this. Make it hard for Slav not to play you. Well, this goes back to something that Ryan pointed out to us earlier. Enner Valencia, as soon as he joined Everton, after a couple of days, he said, these training sessions are so much harder than West Ham. West Ham's is piss easy compared to this. Tony Gill's obviously talked about Julian Dix, about how Julian Dix has said that the players are too lazy. Do you think there's a massive problem on that training ground right now?
Yeah, mate. I think it stems back to last year, Gio. We had a fantastic season, and I think they've gone into this season complacent. And other teams have as you said, upped their game. They've bought better players. Then players are looking to improve, in pressing training. And now, I don't know, as you said, they haven't improved. And the players are sort of this. I think they started the season just thinking, all we got to do, look at our results last year. And we haven't got to train as hard. We haven't got to do anything as hard because, hey, there's no sort of pressure on us, really. We had a good year. We got into Europe in the end. Lucky enough, we got into Europe last season for this season. And we haven't got to do a great deal. We just got to, as you said, I think it's complacency as well, Gio. I really do. You're right. We haven't got to train as hard. I mean, for Tony Gale to come out and say that at an event, I mean, it's pretty shocking, isn't it? And you're not lying there. He actually did come out and say that allegedly the players are lazy and they're not training as hard as they should be. And that is absolutely shocking. And it stems somewhere. You can now see a load of sort of things happening. You can see the incident with obviously with Noble and Bilic with Antonio. You can see the fact they're not training, and that is you can see that is all down to the results on the pitch. And we deserve to be where we are because the players have been absolutely shocking this season for all the things we've discussed.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, it's the reason we're doing this video tonight is because if we were just playing rubbish, we probably wouldn't do this because we do a review and our previews. But it's not just on the pitch. Off the pitch, there's so much problem. There's actually nothing going right for West Ham right now. The only thing that's going right is our youth teams. They're playing well, but they can't get a sniff in the first team. So it's almost pretty pointless, actually, the under-21s winning the league like they did last year because they don't get into the first team. One thing I will say about Randolph and Carroll going out drinking, part of me thinks that's what we're missing. Part of me thinks, actually, maybe the lads do need to get together. Not just two of them, the whole team, to an extent. They need to get together and just be friends, build something. There's no team spirit. They need that. And I do wonder if that's what we're missing. Against Accrington Stanley, now you're going to laugh because I'm Scottish, blah, blah, blah. But I was embarrassed that against Accrington Stanley, that was the first time in West Ham's history we didn't play an Englishman in the team. For me, that just should not happen. Despite... blah, blah, blah. I'm Scottish, yeah. But I've always been proud of the English spine that's run through the West Ham team. The fact that we took through Glenn Johnson, Joe Cole, Lampard, Rio, even John Terry was our academy, whether you like him or not. You could look at the England team and West Ham were providing some of the players or some of them were there. But now, in the summer, we signed players from different countries. They've all got different cultures. They don't even speak the same language. I mean, can you imagine how hard it is for Noble right now? We talk about they're not communicating on the pitch. Can you imagine how difficult it is for him to try and communicate, whereas people all around him that can't even speak the same language as him? And with respect to Noble, if there's any one person in that team that can only speak one language, it's probably Noble.
Yeah.
No, so I actually think team bonding, it could be what they need right now. I think they've timed it wrong. I don't think you should be doing it on a Tuesday at 6 a.m. The pizza shop themselves actually said that they had to remove Randolph because he was getting quite abusive. That pizza shop, they didn't know who Randolph was at the time, because they didn't know West Ham players, blah blah. But apparently, then when they got told it was Randolph, they're like, oh my god! But they actually had to ask Randolph to leave and then phone security because he was getting abusive. But I just think that's maybe what we need: players just getting together and becoming like that again. Remember the player awards? I know we all blamed that for the defeat against Swansea, but they were all enjoying themselves. They were all having a laugh. Czech was coming out saying we've got Payet and stuff. You were there, Tom. You were there. The players were loving it.
Yeah, they were, mate. Yeah, they were. Yeah, last season the togetherness was just fantastic, and you're right. And it filtered down to results. We had some fantastic results, and you're right. This season just doesn't seem to be you're right, Gio. There's no togetherness. There's, as I said, there's no bum slapping. As petty as it sounds, and you're right. I mean, it might be the thing to go out and have a few beers, But to get seen, as you said, like in a kebab shop or whatever, absolutely off your face. And the others haven't gone out that time. They've obviously been out all night, which is good. But in the digital day and age, you've got to expect they're going to get caught. I mean, what do they expect?
Do you worry, Tom, though, that we're losing our English players, if you like, in identity in the squad? Does that worry you at all, or are you really not fussed as long as we're getting decent quality players?
I think it's the thing, Joe, where the Premier League's going with the money, really, isn't it? I mean, if there is a good enough English talent to keep up with buying the likes of Aguero, all these players that cost an astronomical amount of money, and West Ham is one of what other academies? I mean, has Chelsea still got their academy? Southampton do it, don't they? Man City have got a good youth team. There's not many clubs around that have got. I mean, we are right, and I was deciding, like you, to learn the other day. Like, we hadn't started an English player, and I think we was the only club left for that record, wasn't we? And
we're one of the very few anyway. There's not many left with it, if there is anyone. So it is quite disheartening to see that our Englishman Nobles in the crowd, and we've got our Tompkins down at Crystal Palace now. And when it came to the summer, we ignored all the English players that were in the transfer market, such as Andros Townsend, for example. We went for the foreign options like Toure. But let's talk about, very lastly, I suppose, is the one person we haven't spoke about yet, and that's our gaffer. Do you think he's getting a lot wrong, or do you think his hands are tied and it's been forced upon him?
Who's this, Gio? Sorry?
Bilic. Do you think he's getting it wrong, or do you think his hands are tied and actually there's just so much going around it's almost impossible for him to get it right?
I think it's a bit of both, really. I haven't seen the same Bilic as last season, personally. I don't know why that is. We've discussed a few things that potentially it could be, in our opinion. Tactically wise, I don't get some of these tactics sometimes. Like the other day, playing a right back at left back, half time for me personally. The other day against Southampton, he needed to take off under centre. Everyone was saying it. Take off Noble or Qt. One of them and put someone attack minded on. He didn't do that. He took off half time. He took off Lanzini of all the players. If anyone's, I know he didn't have a great game, but if anyone's going to do anything, it's going to be Lanzini. But he took Lanzini off, and then towards the middle, as I said, tactics, middle of the thing, he took off the right back and put Antonio right back. I mean, what is he doing? Antonio's a highest goal scorer. He's took him out off the wing and put him at right back. I mean, you've got to question his tactics at sometimes. I mean, and his selection are truly shocking. And that's not down to the owners. It's not down to anyone else. It's down to Bilic himself. And he has shocked me this year. And even towards the end of last season, we all swallowed the Antonio saga right back because obviously that got forced upon him. But yeah, again, I said to you, everyone's got a weakness, and then for to persist with that, and if that has caused a divide in the dressing room, You know, and that's one of the reasons why we're playing so awful at the moment. There's no togetherness. There's no, there's no leadership. And that's one of the reasons why and it's all down to Bilic again, because obviously he persisted with playing Antonio. I don't want to cuss the bloke off too much, because for me he's a fantastic manager, but he really needs to knuckle down. He needs to get these guys. He needs, as you said, he needs to go out and have a few drinks, maybe, and a meal or whatever, and get them together, and bring back what we had last year with the manager and the players and the closeness. And I suppose it's hard for him, Gio. You're right, because being a manager and being a supervisor, there's got to be a line, hasn't there? There's a line. It's okay to go out to a certain point, but hey, in the day, you've got to do your job. Hey, I'm the boss. And your job is to defend. Your job's to score goals. And he's got to have a thing. It must be very difficult for him, And as you said, he's had a lot of new additions, multi-cultures, like a German, a Turkish guy. He's had a lot of different nationalities come together, and it must be very difficult for him.
Yeah, I mean, I am like you. I love it. Before people start saying anything, neither me or Tom want Bilic sacked. That's not what we're here saying. We're here like worrying as to why a manager we love and trust so much, if you like, and want to do well, is struggling. And the reason he's struggling is partly to his own blame. I don't get why he's not changed the keeper yet. More and more West Ham fans as it's happening want to. Now, Adrian didn't do bad against Southampton. He could have done better for the first goal, I thought. Yeah. But what annoys me is his distribution. It still is distribution. Three picks, four picks. Throw it out quickly and let's get an attack going. But he doesn't. He just holds it. Tells his defence. Then he boots it down to the middle to Zaza, who's good in the air, but not against Van Dijk and Fonte. He's not. Stop booting it down the middle. If you are going to boot it, boot out to Antonio, who can actually. But Antonio, again on Sunday, he just looked broken. When you were sitting next to me, as soon as that sub happened, you could see Antonio lift up his shirt, cover his face with it, and he just trunched. He literally dragged his feet like a kid around the supermarket who got told he wasn't getting a sweetie. He dragged his feet across the pitch. And everyone, the whole crowd stood there thinking, what are you doing? Not only is he West Ham's top goal scorer, he's the Premier League's top goal scorer. Why are you putting the Premier League's top goal scorer at right back? And you bring on, with this, there's no offence intended here for Ashley Fletcher, but you bring on a kid who's never scored in the Premier League. But yet you put the Premier League top goal scorer at right back. I feel for Nordvik, because when I seen him against Juventus in pre-season, what I've read about him, I still am actually genuinely excited about him. The fact he's a ball player, the fact that he can do all these passes that we need and what we're missing, and he can protect the back four. He's been here for 2 months and he's played 3 different positions. He's had about 5 different people alongside him to talk to, like we've just spoke about. How can they communicate? How is this guy supposed to learn the people he's working next to when he's a different one every day? He's a centre midfielder, but he's playing right back and centre back. Give him a position and let him learn it. Let him learn the Premier League. Let him learn the role of a centre midfielder at West Ham. Let him learn playing alongside Cech or No Ball. Let him learn playing behind Lanzini. Stop putting him out of position. I feel really, really sorry for him. He's the one new signing I just feel sorry for. And Zaza as well. He's not an out-and-out striker. And I think Bilic has to look. I actually genuinely start to think Bilic writes down his 11 players he's going to play. I think Bilic takes a bit of paper and goes, right, Payet, Lanzini, Antonio, Adrian. He writes down his 11 and goes, right, where are they all going to play? Okay, goalie. And then he puts them in their natural positions, goes, who have I got left? Okay, I've got my left back and right back left, and I've not fitted in Nordvik and Arbeloa. There's my fullbacks. Where will I put them? I'm generally starting to think he picks 11 players, then he looks as to where he's going to put them all. And it just does. I just don't get it.
Why are you talking about the matter of Payet? I'm going to say something very controversial. And he has gone missing. Yeah, he's got a few assists and that, but he doesn't do the job, mate. He's on the wing, and Antonio's on the other wing, and you notice it during the game. Every 15 minutes they alternate. Payet goes over to the right, Antonio goes over the left, and whatever side Payet goes on, he doesn't do the job that's needed of that winger, which is covering the fullback position. And you can see it. And I've worked it out. So if I've worked it out, Mr. Joe Average, normal supervisor in office sort of guy, you can bet your bottom dollar the opposition management have worked it out. Wherever Pyatt goes, he doesn't defend. So when Pyatt goes over that side, and wherever you double up down that side, on the left back, on the right, but wherever side he's not playing. So for me personally, Pyatt has to come off the wing. He can't defend. He doesn't want to defend. He shouldn't defend. He's got to go beyond. If you're going to persist with one striker, maybe it's the option of putting him behind the striker and just saying to him, just create. Just create. That's all you got to do, is just create. Don't put him on the wing, though, because he's not defending. And that's one of the reasons why we're conceding so many goals, because players are running through our midfield. And it seems to be down wherever Pyatt is. And I've worked it out, and you can clearly see it, mate. He's not defending, and it's so frustrating to watch. And you've got to kick him up the arse and say to him, go and learn defending. Do your job as a winger and defend. Not all this. Yeah, it's great doing the Rabona, the fancy assistant things, but he needs to start defending, mate. Because wherever he is, he Masuaka, I mean, and I think that's one of the reasons Cresswell gets him out of the last season. I think Cresswell got him out of it a hell of a lot. But you realise now how good he is, Cresswell, because Cresswell was clearing out that wing and he was getting him and he was telling him to come back with him, help. But where Masuaka, it's not his fault. He hasn't got no Premier League experience either. He's come in and he's basically saying, well, for me personally, he's not a great defender anyway. He gets attacked. And I don't think he's telling Pyatt to come. That's what I'm saying. Cresswell injury has impacted Pyatt. I honestly do think that's one of the reasons why we've struggled as well this season, Cresswell injury, because it seems to be that. But Pyatt needs, honestly, mate, he's experienced enough. He's 30 years old nearly. He should be doing the defending, mate.
I genuinely think that Noble is covering Pyatt a lot, and that's why he gets caught out of position. Yeah. And I do feel
mate. You're right, yeah. You're right. You're totally right, because then Noble goes and covers that side, and then it leaves Czech by himself. And then there's two people in there, and you've got one person probably that they're attacking, and then another centre, one of the Southamptons that gets forward as well. And they're overrunning the midfield, and it comes down to, for me personally, the fact that Pyatt's not defending. And I've noticed it not just this game, the last game, it's every game, and it's getting quite worrying, mate. If he's not going to defend, put him in a position where he hasn't got to worry about it, which is behind the striker, what Lanzini does. He needs to do that role and swap Lanzini over. Honestly,
also playing him on the wing means he's going to cross the ball all the time, and that's what we've been doing. But there's no one to head it apart from Antonio, who's then right back. Certainly me, I keep complaining. We keep going wide and cross it. There's no one to head it in the box. But the reason we're crossing is because Pyatt's getting out wide, and he either crosses or he runs right into the crowded space in centre of the pitch. And what I actually think we should do is, I've spoke about Klopp for a reason on this. I actually think we need to go have a look at Liverpool, how they're playing with Coutinho, Firmino and Mane right now. They've got no striker. They're playing with M3. Okay, you can say Firmino is a striker, but he's not like a number 9. He's a number 10. Them three are the front three. And then they have three behind them. One holds Henderson, and it allows Lallana and Ronaldo to push up as well. I almost think we need to do that. Get Zaza out of the team. Play Antonio, Payet, Lanzini. Let them interchange. Just let them interchange. Don't tell them where to go. Let them interchange. Then have the three behind them doing the legwork. Noble, Czech, and Obiang. Put them three in there. Obiang behind the other two. And just say, right, Obiang, you do not cross the halfway line. You do not go forward. You just stay. You just stay in front of that defence, and you let that front three run riot. Because right now we've got a striker, and we don't know how to play with a striker. We just don't know how to get the best out of the striker, no matter who it is. The only reason we know how to get the best out of Carroll is because it's basic. Put it in the box. We don't know how you get the best out of Sacco. He couldn't score. Valencia, he was rubbish, but he still couldn't score. We've had Caleri, we've had Fletcher, we've had Zaza, Emenike. Our strikers can't score. The reason is we don't know how you play with a striker. We're not set up to play with a striker. We get to the byline and we freeze. The amount of times I've seen Czech on Sunday against Southampton run down the line or whatever, and he froze. He didn't know what to do. He got there. At one point, he literally ran out for a goal kick because he looked up and there was no one in the box. The Zaza was in the box, and that was it. And I thought, what is going on here? Why is Czech? As soon as you see Czech Kayati running down the wing, there should be at least 3 people running into that box. 3 of them just go get in the box and let us chase the ball. But they weren't. They were watching Czech, thinking, what are you going to do with it? You looked up, Ball Zaza was in the middle against Van Dijk and Fonte. He's got no hope against them, none whatsoever. You got Payet stuck out in the left wing, Antonio behind him, and Lanzini out in the middle up against that defensive midfielder, Romeo. And I just thought, what's he meant to do? He ends up running out for a goal kick. I thought, oh my God. It's just things are so simple. We just cannot do it. We said it on our Southampton preview. The fullbacks for Southampton are key. They get their fullbacks, they overlap, and that's what they did. And like you said, Payet did nothing. Antonio tracks, but he doesn't track nearly as much as he has to. But he, name a good winger that does do all the tracking. Dirk Kuyt is probably the last one I can remember in Premier League that would do all the tracking. Football's moved on. West Ham's tactics have not. You go to Man City, they've got, I know you always say, well, they're world class. I don't care. You go to Man City, they've moved David Silva, the playmaker, the puppeteer. They've moved him into the centre midfield because... Exactly. You go to Arsenal, they've got Santi Cazorla. They're taking the playmaker, they're moving them back. There's not enough room in front of the opposition's midfield anymore because the defensive midfielder is now there. They now occupy that space. So Arsene Wenger and Pep, who are also probably the 2 best managers in the league, have gone, well, I'll take my creative player and move him back further so he cannot mark him. They put them in there and they spray the passes. They do the work. Ronaldo and Lallana at Liverpool, they sit centre midfield and they spray the passes out to the runners, the ones. That's why Arsenal whooped Chelsea and on Saturday night. They didn't play with a striker. They played Sanchez, Walcott, and Ozil and said, "Do what you want." And then behind them, they had Cazorla and Coquelin and Iwobi. They had them 3 behind and said, "You guys spray the passes to those front 3 and let them do that." Bam, bam, bam. 3-0 before halftime. Game over. My rant over. Tom, is there anything else you want to talk about before we disappear?
No, mate. No, I think we've covered quite a lot there. Yeah, it's pretty. Seems pretty good. That's just. It's a diff. It is the old first season syndrome, though, isn't it? A new stadium, Gio. Really, every team has moved stadiums, Southampton included. They have Southampton, Man City, Arsenal. They all seem to struggle at the beginning, and it's a transitional period. Man City is still going through the transitional period, I hear. Some of the fans still saying that they're still trying to get things sorted out there. And yeah, but for me, it's just it's a difficult time for everyone at the moment. Really difficult. The results haven't helped at all.
How confident are you will turn this around? What do you predict is going to happen between now and then the season? We've also got a huge game against Middlesbrough. The Hamish Chat TV will be out for that on Thursday at 12 o'clock dinner time. So on your lunch break on Thursday, give us a watch. Make sure you subscribe while you're here. But Tom, what can you see happening with this season? Well, mid-table?
Sure. At the moment, Gio, I can tell you now, obviously we've had 6 games now, we've lost 5. The warning signs were the last 3 games, especially the amount of goals we conceded, 11 goals against teams that, you could argue if we were playing Man City, Arsenal, we would get stuffed 8 or 9-0, and Southampton could have had a lot more than 3, to be honest with you. I'll tell you, and it's this week. I hope that they're drilling that message into the players, Bilic, everyone associated with their club, that they're and if we do lose against Middlesbrough, mate, I'm telling you now, I'll tell you now, we are going to go down. It's a rot, then it's a rot that you can't stop. I usually say, I said, wait to 10 or 12 games and see where you're going to be for the season. I don't want to wait the 10 or 12 games. I don't want to wait another 6 games where we could potentially be, because you can have Christmas upon you. After the next 3 games, we've got some very, very tough fixtures. Honestly, we've got 4 of the big boys, in a row as well. We've got some tough fixtures, and we need to get some. And if we lose against Middlesbrough, it depends on the manner if we lose. If we see any fight, do you know what I mean? At the moment, I'm seeing nothing. I'm seeing nothing, Gio. I'm seeing nothing from them lads on the pitch, from Bilic. I'm seeing nothing from anyone within the club that's giving me any sort of sign of positivity. I'm not looking forward to the weekend game. I'm looking forward to going have a few beers, to be honest. That's about it. And seeing my mates, and seeing a few football mates, everyone else, That's about it. I'm not enjoying going to the stadium. I'm not enjoying the result. I'm not enjoying the football. And as I said, if it's going to be hard, I think we're going to get relegated if we lose in the manner we have been losing against Middlesbrough. This is Middlesbrough. You know, I mean, last night Burnley beat Watford 2-0 comfortably. They didn't throw away a two-goal lead. I mean, hey, if we lose against Middlesbrough, I think we're going to get relegated. I want to see a big performance. I want to see us win comfortably. Have a crowd roaring day. You know, everyone get behind the team. Everyone's singing the togetherness in the ground. The ground's rocking. We've got to do. The fans. They are right. The fans are the 12th man. But we have to have something to cheer about. There's nothing coming out of the club at the moment. It's cheer. So the players.
I genuinely think the fans weren't that bad on Monday.
But yeah, but the thing is, Gio, I mean, everyone says, oh, there's always 3 clubs worse than you. At the moment, you can only argue really Stoke. I know Sunderland. They're the 2 below us. They're the ones that are having a really, really sort of thing. We're one of the 3 that everyone else says, oh, they're one of the 3 worst teams. We are there, mate. We've lost 5 of the 6 games. This is a wake-up call. This is a massive wake-up call to the players, to everyone. You know, they need a slap across the face. They need it quick. You know, they really realise that we're West Ham. I know everyone is saying about their club, but we are a working man's club. This is a working class club. And this is what they need to realise. This is a passion. I know we talk about it, and everyone else talks about their football club, but this is our club. They need to wake up. They need a slap around the face. They really need to get it, and they need to do it quickly, mate. Because honestly, they can't let the rot get even further in, because it's going to be awful. It'd be terrible.
Well, you guys have been watching Kylie. Make sure you subscribe to our channel here. If you're watching embedded on a site, just go to youtube.com/Hammers Chat and make sure you subscribe. We'll be back on Thursday. Let us know what you're thinking. A lot of you have been watching. Thank you very much for watching and joining us and all your comments. I have been reading them, and there's been some great points. But make sure you comment below, or you can come onto our forum at hammerschat.com and give us your thoughts. There are some topics. We've been here an hour and we didn't even get to do all the topics, i.e. why is Obiang not playing? What's happening in Reece Oxford? Is Bilic too scared to play the youth? Well, there's 3 topics for you watching at home to let us know what you're thinking. But Tom, thank you very, very much for coming on tonight. Have you had your rant? Are you feeling a little bit better?
I've had a little rant, mate. Yeah, there's still a lot more to get out. But as you said, you've done an hour already. There's a lot more, you know. And hey, I can vent over Twitter. I can vent everywhere else, mate. You know, it's worrying times. But hey, we're West Ham. I hope we'll be all right. But at the moment, I'm seeing nothing, mate.
No, I quite agree. I mean, like I listened to what you were saying just there, and I agree. I'll be there on Saturday. It costs me about 250 quid to go to a game. The last 2 games I've been at, we've shown 0 effort. We've scored 2 goals and conceded 7. And I enjoy before the game. I enjoy after the game. The only part I don't enjoy is in 90 minutes inside the bloody ground. It's the only part I don't enjoy right now. Nail that. And actually, the experience for fans won't actually be that bad. Not necessarily because of the new ground, but because of the infrastructure around it. There's loads of places to go for a beer, including our boats at Hammers Chat. We want to see you there as well. But I think all the ingredients are there. We just need to find the recipe to pull it all together and to make the most beautiful cake ever. But right now, we don't even have a bloody chef. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, come onto our forum, comment below. That's been Tom. I've been Gio. We've been Hammers Chat. Make sure you check out our sponsors, Royal London Watches. Thank you for watching.